10 metres away. Didn't have his whistle up. He waited till it sort of came off the back of one of the players there and correctly simulated bounce. Okay, now this next one is a bit probably not that relevant for you guys because this one involves 2 boundary umpires consulting. I mean, we have a few games where there's 3 boundary umpires, but not too many games. This one is a really hard decision. We figured out last night that signal, we're trying to work out what that signal means. Worked out that what it means is if there's a bad bounce by the field umpire and they recall the bounce, that signal, so the field umpire isn't meant to throw the ball up until the square's clear and there's only 4 players back in there. And that signal means it's a signal to the field umpire to let them know that they can now ball it up because there's only 4 from each team in the square. We think that's what it means.
Is that what it is?
Pardon? I know, but that's what someone told us. They're taking their word for it. We're gonna check on that signal, but
There's only 3.
I've never seen that signal anywhere, so I don't know. I'm just guessing that, but someone said that last night, so we'll check on it. Yeah, but he does seem to be on the boundary. I don't know why. He's still on that.
Let's go towards Fitzpatrick. He gets pushed out of the contest, then he goes for the fall and over by Ferguson. Was that deliberate?
How tough a decision is that? Like, where's his boot? Like, how can he? That's just a really, really hard call.
Was that right? Over by Ferguson. Was that deliberate?
So he asked the other boundary umpire
That's
now.
what we don't need, unfortunately, because we are getting towards the last minute of our telecast here, and we've already got extended time.
Apparently it was the right decision, but you know, if the other boundary's in a better position than you, if there's 2 on your side, which there might be in finals, well, then maybe they might need to be asked. Okay, a couple more. Good decision from where he was.
It was, wasn't it?
But did he know who kicked it out?
I think he gets it right, but it's a good decision from where he was. But he was on the move trying to get there, but he got the decision right. And he goes to the trouble to mark the spot. I'm sure if the field umpire was in check, I was coming this way anyway, but yeah. This next one is sort of an example of what I was talking about the player kicking the ball to himself at the kick-in.
It is not a very pleasant afternoon in Casey, and the lights aren't finally on. Just as well, Pete, because down the other end of the field, we're a long way away.
Absolutely. Well, Sheehan, this actually hasn't touched anyone. That's going to be out of bounds on the
But didn't
floor.
he play on then? He played on.
Kicked it to himself.
Kicked it to himself.
Bad error by the boundary. He would have been brought back to TAC come for that error to a TV game as well. To make a bad error like that, that would have been. He probably, like, even if he was the #1 ranked boundary umpire, whatever stage of the year this was, straight out of contention, straight down the list, drop about 10 rankings or something. If you make a bad error like that.
But he corrected himself, didn't he?
Pardon?
Did he correct himself?
But he's made the error, and so there wasn't much time wasted. But it's just a bad area that he just wasn't concentrating. So yeah.
And they continued on, so that's what the field umpire is saying.
Okay, last one we'll look at. This is one punch
All
out
credit to
bounce.
Williamstown. They are putting the heat on at the moment, and they are really putting the pressure on Port Melbourne when they've got the ball.
Good contest between skipper and ball. Now it's on the full, so who are they calling it
I
against?
was just going to say that has come on both of them, I think.
Well, that's
That's a good decision.
common sense, I think.
Yeah.
That is excellent umpiring.
Right, so he simulated bounds on the full, but as you can see, who knows whose hands have come off. So really good umpiring by the field umpire and the boundary umpire, and obviously it's just a throw in that situation.
Do you still signal out in the full when they both hit it
It's
out?
still signalated bounds on the
And then
full,
just
yeah, because
throw
it crosses the line on the full, so you still signal it.
And then the field umpire comes and says,
Yeah,
"Will it come off?" And you go, "I got no clue."
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you still have to signalate bounds on the full. How many people who's umpired an AB or C game this year? Okay, how many of you have watched a game?
What, every week?
No, not every week, but occasionally. Yeah, should, not necessarily every week, but all the field umpires, most of the field umpires watch the game, not necessarily all their games. What I usually do is say to them, even just watch a 10-minute snippet, and then I'll take notes, and then we'll compare the notes on a Thursday or Wednesday night or whatever. But especially if you know there's been a contentious decision in your game, and okay, some of the videos aren't as good as others, but most of them, in the top few grades, are okay. So, VAPATV.com, if you didn't know, just have a look at the games from time to time, and you'll pick up lots of good things, even if it's just to watch. Like, you might know that there's a really good boundary umpire. We have got a few, Gavin, haven't we? Yeah, a few really
We
good
do,
ones.
yeah.
So you might know that, you might realise, well, so-and-so knows a much better boundary umpire than me. They've been umpiring for much longer and they're really good. I might just watch 5 minutes of him or her and see what they do, and you might pick up a few things. Just my final reminders. Hopefully most of you now are in the new uniform, which includes green socks and sweatpants. Good. Also, Monday, August 26th, so 4 weeks from this Monday, is the pre-finals dinner. And it's an expectation that all umpires come to that. The money gets taken out of your pay anyway, so you might as well. Except if you've got a legitimate reason for not coming, then you have to email Russell Davidson, and all these details are on the website, that you can't come. Parents are welcome to come, including you, Rod. So it's $40 if parents want to come, but it's $65, money gets taken out of your account. Girlfriends or boyfriends, $70. That's so it's a really good night. There are awards, including some to boundary umpires, that are given at that night. So who's been to the one last year or in past years? Yes? Was it okay?
Yeah, you got to say yes.
Who was the guest speaker last year?
Luke
Okay, was he okay?
Ball.
Is he back to Collingwood? Okay, okay, but yeah, it is good, and it's a good start leading up to the finals. The other reminder with finals is that they do start the following weekend after that, so in the last weekend of August, and they are Saturday, Sunday, so it's really important that you guys start updating on scheduler availability for Sundays as well from the end of August. So the expectation is that you're available both days, and if you're not, well, we can accommodate you and put you on one day and not the other, but you really need to, we don't want to find out a few days before when we've given you a Saturday game that you can't do it. You're only available Sunday or vice versa, so you really need to put those details into scheduler. The only other reminder is about how long before the game you should be in the rooms. Right, hours fantastic. 45 minutes is acceptable, and actually means in the rooms. I don't mind if you go in there, be known to the field umpires, say we're here. Is it okay if we just stay outside for a little bit? That's fine. When I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. We don't want what I saw at Trinity the other week, where at 20 to 2, the boundary umpires were out on the ground at the back kicking the footy, and the field umpires were ready to have a chat to them about a couple of things, and they had no idea where they were, and the field umpires didn't even know they were there. So go into the rooms, introduce yourself to the field umpires, and if you want to go and talk to your mum or whatever, do whatever for a few minutes, that's fine. But as long as from about 1:30 onwards, you're in the rooms. And I know some field umpires can be boring, most field umpires are boring probably, but it's the expectation that you are in the rooms and ready to go. Don't mind if you go outside and watch a bit of the game before if there's another game on, but don't go too far away from the rooms. Okay, any questions about anything we mentioned tonight?
Do we need to know all the reportable offences? Like,
Yes.
do you need to know all of them?
Yeah, do you know how many there are?
No?
In the VAFA handbook, anyone might guess how many there are?
4?
Pardon?
4?
Try 24. There are 24 reportable offences in the VAFA handbook.
Okay.
So you should know all 24. Hopefully the field umpires know them all. But yeah, there are 24. Look, probably most of the ones that you might be, I was going to say most might be abuse. Hopefully it won't be abuse to you. But you never know. Or striking, I guess, is a common one. Though we did have not last weekend, the weekend before, at Melbourne Uni, where all 6 umpires reported a Beaumaris player for urinating on the ground before the start of the third quarter. So what happened was one of the umpires noticed it, and like I said, it was wet. It was Bowie on the ground. Uni Blues or Blacks, whoever it was still hadn't come out on the ground. And unfortunately at Melbourne Uni, because they're doing up the ground, there are no toilets or showers in the actual rooms. So I suppose it's got a bit of an excuse, but just did it on the ground. And the field umpires noticed it, and the others thought, oh yeah, and then the field umpire says, well, we've all noticed it, I think we all should report it. So the field umpire went over, and then he just said, you know, I'm reporting you for misconduct, in that you urinated on the ground, whatever. In that situation, there's no need for all the other 5 umpires individually to come up to the player, but I don't think he'd appreciate that. But the field umpire just said the other umpires are reporting you as well. All 6 of them went to the tribunal. They asked 4 of them for evidence. So they asked the main field umpire who noticed it first. He went first, then the next field umpire, then I think one of the boundaries and one of the goal umpires, and they obviously, the first field umpire, like his evidence took a while, but then the others, as I heard, they had very similar evidence obviously, so they didn't sort of take too long with the others. But if that's the case, you know, if you've all reported for something similar, likelihood is you probably wouldn't all have to. You might have to go to the tribunal, but you may not actually have to give evidence if it's basically the same charge. But yes, Daniel, there are 24 offences. Striking obviously is the most common. Gav,
Did he get up?
What if
2
they?
weeks.
What if at St Bernard's they go behind the tree over near the fences? Is that still reportable?
Are you asking them or asking me?
Everyone.
Well, technically no, because he's not
Off the ground.
inside the ground.
The rule book says you can report up to 500 within 500 metres of the ground.
So he has to go 501
That's what the rule book says.
Trying to buy an eye for going 1 street, wouldn't you?
Good question. I don't know. If it's behind a tree, I don't think I would probably.
What was he supposed to do?
do that.
There are toilets
Well,
out
he
there.
could have gone behind a tree.
But there are toilets. But I don't think there were toilets.
Yeah, miles away.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, but you can report. So I guess that means if you're walking to your car, if you're driving, as you would be, Sam, and someone accuses you, and you know who they are, you remember them from the game because you got in the way, you ran through the mark when they were trying to have that shot at goal and it cost them the game, and they abuse you, and you remember it, you can still report them. So after the game, up till midnight of the game, and 500 metres from the ground, you can still report. If there's some incident like that, like you're probably not going to get your notepad out there and then and say, I'm reporting you. Obviously you have to ring Benny and tell him about it, and then the VAFA will deal with it. Like some case like that, if it's some unusual thing after the game, it would probably go to an investigation rather than the normal tribunal. But we're getting into other blue mooners here, so we won't worry too much about that. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thanks again for coming. It's really important, as I said at the start, that we got a lot of you. So I think we've had about close to 45, 50 so far on the 2 nights, which is good. And we're doing sessions at Fitzroy and Werribee. Hopefully coming week. Yes, we love going out there. Don't put that on the tape. Yeah, so thanks again for that. Have you got a copy of that game? The MCD game?
Oh, yes, I'm familiar.
Okay. But have you got the game? Do you want my tape? You can have it if you autograph it. Yourself. No, it's okay. You can have it.